In the months leading up to the release of Thor Love and Thunder, we heard people predicting that this movie was going to be massive at the box office, that it would even outpace Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness's opening weekend. Some people predicted up to $200 million domestically. Well, the numbers are now very clear, and it's a disappointment for Marvel. For anyone that thought they could get close to those numbers, they were sorely mistaken. Thor Love and Thunder hammering $135 to $145 million opening weekend. Now, of course, $140 million opening weekend, certainly nothing to scoff at, but you compare it to what people were saying just a few weeks ago about this movie, you have to wonder what happened. Was it the marketing? Was it them coming out and saying, hey guys, it's the gayest movie ever? Was it the word of mouth that's already gone around about this movie, that it's essentially a parody of a superhero movie, that it takes nothing seriously at all, and people are tired of that? Not sure. One thing is for sure, the fact that this movie has a 25% drop-off from what we saw just a few months ago for Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, that could spell a big problem for Marvel, especially when you consider that Thor Love and Thunder has a $250 million budget, whereas Multiverse of Madness only had a $200 million budget, which meant this movie had to get to about $500 million to break even. Thor needs to go over $600 million worldwide easily before it makes a profit. And when you just go and you can look and you can see the Friday numbers, including the Thursday previews, it's $69 million for Thor Love and Thunder. When you compare that to what we saw from Doctor Strange at $90 million through that Friday, that is a 25% drop off. And if we take that out, just like they're predicting now for that opening weekend, 187 for Doctor Strange 2 compared to what they're saying is going to be 135 to 145. Say it's 140 million on the nose, right in between there. Again, that's a 25% drop off. Now, opening weekends are one thing. Opening weekends can be massive. Opening weekends can be small. Really, it's how is it going to trend? Is it going to trend really well? Something like Thor Ragnarok did. Or is it going to have a massive drop-off like we've seen from the last several entries in the MCU? These recent MCU releases are so front-loaded because of the hype that they generate. You got to be there opening weekend. You got to see it opening weekend. And then you have that big opening weekend, and just like Doctor Strange, you see a 67% drop-off. This will not bode well if that's what happens for this movie. This is a movie that they brought out all the Guardians of the Galaxy. You advertise it using the Guardians of the Galaxy with Chris Pratt, with all these different characters, even though they only got used in the first 5 minutes of the movie. You went all out, massive budget, everything. And if this fails to break, like $900 million, if it gets like $850 million, like something like Ragnarok did, I don't know if you can really consider that a success for Marvel. Obviously, it would make money, and that's, at the end of the day, what they want. But would it also go to an overall trend of people are just kind of tired of the same old shit coming from Disney? When you look at a movie like Ragnarok and what we saw from Ragnarok in the box office, it made $850 million. But a lot of people forget, 100 million of that was from China. $100 million from China. We're not going to see any numbers like that for something like for a Marvel release. That's for sure, especially what they continue to put in there. But let's just compare these numbers that we might get to what we saw from Jurassic World, something with just Chris Pratt in it. That made $145 million opening weekend. Did not have a massive box office drop in the second weekend and is now on its way. It's already made $839 million. That number's likely going to continue to go up, at least over $900 million by the end of its run. And if you have something that you went all out on, that you spent $250 million on like Thor Love and Thunder, and it doesn't at least do those numbers, you'd have to consider that a pretty big embarrassment if you're Disney and if you're Marvel. We have Top Gun cruising to over $1.1 billion. But if this movie has the kind of drop-off that everyone's expecting it to have, if it paces the same way, if it tracks the same way that Doctor Strange did, you're going to have a lot of people getting very worried at Disney. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.